I'm the Taubmans Colour Specialist, and we're here this evening for another session where you can find out about our wonderful portfolio of products that we have designed to protect and beautify your space. You can also find out about the wonderful colour range that we have, and certainly if you're embarking on any projects, we are here this evening to help you. So let me tell you how our sessions work. So for the next half an hour, I will be streaming live on screen, and it is a fantastic opportunity for you to pop any questions that you do have into our feed, and I will certainly do my best to answer them for you. If you're wanting to share any images and would like some advice, etc. on images, photos, etc., hold off until we finish streaming, because I sit back for a further half an hour behind the computer, not in front of the camera, and that is when you can pop your photos into the feed. Unfortunately, when we are streaming live, it's just not possible to upload photos. So as I said, I'm going to be here for the next half an hour or so to answer all of your questions and help you with some wonderful Taubmans products, because we're here tonight to talk Taubmans. And so I'm going to begin the session. So tonight I'm going to start off with a comment that was posted in our feed, and that was from Fliss. So thank you very much, Fliss, for popping it in. She shared a couple of beautiful images of her new kitchen space where she has used a colour called Daffodil Mist. So a beautiful happy yellow, and it certainly lifted the space and it looks fantastic. So well done, and thank you very much for sharing. And you know, if any of you want to share images from your recent projects, etc., that you have embarked on, feel free to pop them into the feed. It's always fantastic to see what you're all doing at home. So I'm going to start tonight. So I've got lots of questions that are coming through our feed. And so what we do is we've got obviously quite a few different social media platforms, and we go through those and we bring to life questions that are sort of, or, questions, I guess, queries, etc. Queries about colour, product, things that seem to be repeating regularly, and we like to bring them to life because we like to keep it real. So I've got some fantastic topics to discuss tonight. So I'm going to go through those, but as I said, pop any of your questions into the feed and I'll be very happy to offer some assistance as we go through. So I've been asked here, what are some slightly warm whites that don't throw any yellow? And I talk about this quite a lot, and sometimes I think, I'm repeating myself, but then I forget we get lots of new viewers to our session. So it's important to keep talking about relevant things, and we know how much white is loved and utilised within our Australian market, if you like. And so it's always going to be a very valid and important conversation to have. So white can be a little bit tricky, and I like to talk about whites being popped into three categories. So you have what's called a cool white, a white that tends to have that sort of blue undertone. Then you have a warm white, a white that tends to have more of a yellow undertone. I'm just trying to help you visualize this. And then you've got what's called a neutral white. And that neutral white can really have sort of a soft sort of green, slightly green, going into a beige, very neutral style grey undertone. So, and that type of color works really, really well in nearly every environment. So what I'm going to suggest is we've got a fantastic color card, if you like, and you can find this. It's our whites and neutrals, and it's recently been updated, and you can find this in your local Taubmans stockist. So it would be, you could pop into a Bunnings, you can go into one of our company owned stores, one of our Bristol stores, etc., and find one of these on the wall. Now what I really love about it is, so we're trying to help you on your journey of white. So I'm going to open this up here. You have to excuse me when I do this and I'm looking at another screen. It all looks back to front and I sort of end up everywhere. But anyhow, we're starting with our cooler whites on this side, going to our warmer whites on that side. And then in between, we've got more of our neutral style whites. And you can see here, there is a gradation bar starting from going from cool, going into your neutral tones, and then going to warmer. So if you're looking for something that's slightly warmer, but that's not going to throw too much yellow, start to look within this space. And so I'd recommend having a look at a fantastic colour that's called, what have I got here? Something like South Pole, which is this tone here. You could even go out and have a look at, there's another colour here which is called Alpine Snow, and I reference those quite a lot because they're really easy to use whites. They sit with many, many elements within inside your home, and they'll work with, you know, lots of colours if you're wanting to add colour by way of accessorising, or even, you know, injecting a door for a little bit more colour, like a coloured door for an interior, or even creating a feature wall, or even, as trends would have it at the moment, having a coloured ceiling is another fantastic way of injecting colour without it being too overwhelming, if you like. So I would have a look at those two colours, or those three colours, to begin your white journey. I think you'll find that one of those will suit. What I would suggest is, and I say this all of the time, is when you are looking at whites in your space, there's two areas to test them. Now, I don't think you can do this, but I don't recommend just painting it straight on the wall. What I do recommend is getting yourself a large piece of cardboard. So we're looking for a piece of cardboard that's roughly 1 metre by 1 metre square. Now, all of our paint, when it's going into, say, a Bunnings store, comes on large pallets, and in between the layers of paint are what they call pallet liners. So they're big, large pieces of cardboard. So you can talk to the friendly paint team members and ask them for one of those. You're going to cut yourself 1 metre by 1 metre square with your sample pot of the colour that you're wanting to trial. Brush out 3 coats. Now, generally, if I was talking about something like Endure, which is my favourite interior broad wall paint, it is fantastic. I would recommend 2 coats, because Endure is a 2-coat system. But in this instance, because we're going on to bare cardboard, and if we were going on to bare gyprock at home, you'd want to undercoat first. So you'd be using, if it were gyprock, you'd be using something like 3-in-1. For this instance, we're going to use 3 coats of Endure just to aid as that undercoat on our piece of cardboard, just so that you're getting adequate coverage, and just to ensure that when you start to look at this colour, you're going to see the true representation of it in your space. So once your piece of cardboard or the sample that you're creating is dry, I would recommend testing it in 2 spots at home. So you've got your wall, you've got your floor here, popping it up against the wall so that it's touching the floor. Now, the reason we're popping it here is because if you have timber floorboards, so they've got a lot of warmth to them, that can influence your wall colour. So at certain times of day, your wall colour can look, if you like, perhaps a little bit more, it's a bit warmer, a little bit golden. And also too, if you've got, I'm going to use this analogy, if you have a red leather lounge, sometimes when the sun's on at certain times of day, your wall can look pink. So it's just preparing you for what the colour is going to look like and how it can change in varying light levels. So you're also going to test it in natural sunlight or natural daylight, and also to of an evening with your artificial lighting, so you can see how the lighting plays with the colour as well. And keeping in mind what we've just said there, this time you're going to test it. Here's your wall, here's your ceiling, putting your sample up the top there, looking at it in daytime, and also too of an evening, so that you can see how your lighting is going to change or affect your colour. It's fantastic to educate yourself and ensure that the white that you're selecting is going to work and play really well to its surroundings. So therefore you won't be disappointed. So I hope that that's a good tip. I recommend doing that all the time, every time that you're going to paint, and not even just with your whites, testing your colours as well, because when you're looking at colour and when you're looking at a little swatch, or even just a colour chip, you're only still looking at a small piece of colour, and when you put it in your space, that colour can change. So sample pot, test it, you cannot go wrong. Excuse me. We're still on the theme of whites. Okay, what white do you recommend for a coastal style exterior? Okay, so look, coastal theme is still very much on trend, if you like, and it's something that we are asked about all of the time. And even when I'm out and about in store, you can guarantee if I'm talking to a customer at a colour wall, the topic of exterior coastal or even Hamptons comes to life pretty much all of the time. So selecting again a white, looking at a neutral style white, I think is really important. The reason being, I'm not going to say to you, to use a really bright style white, because when you put it out in the sun, it's going to look really bright, really glary, and you know what, you're going to need your sunglasses on. So this is another tip when you're looking at whites. And there's something that I like to reference when I'm selecting whites, and I even do that here. So when you're asking me about a color, I quickly flip the fan deck over and I read what's called the LRV, which is light reflectance value. Really important. So you're looking at, let me say, you're looking at black, which starts at 0, and going to white. You're wanting to find something that sits in between. So you're going to look at, for a front door, they like to see a front door painted in a color that's 50 or higher, which means, you know, if you go 50 or lower, you're going too dark. And for a new front door, a lot of front doors, if they're timber, have warranties and stipulations against the color that goes onto it. And they like to see it being at an LRV of 50 or higher, which is going to stop that color from drawing too much heat and the timber door, for example, twisting and warping. So you don't want to void your warranty. So that's something to be mindful of. And look, when we're talking about whites for exteriors, it's looking at that LRV value again. And I like to work somewhere between 65 to, let's say 75, 80 max for the exterior facade. So just to give you an example, Surf Mist, which is the #1 white that's been used. And look, by the way, it looks fantastic for a coastal theme, that's for sure. However, Surf Mist, when you look at it, it sits, the LRV is 67. There's Surf Mist there. Now you might look at that and go, you know what, that doesn't look that white. When you put it outside, it looks really white. So because when you're putting colours outside, in particular whites, they have a tendency to, what I like to refer to as, bleach out. So they look even brighter. So recommending a white for an exterior, I always look at the LRV. And if you're doing it at home, have a look at the LRV and look at a colour that sits at around about 65 to 75. You can find all of the information around our colours on our website. You can visit www.taubmans.com.au. And the website is so easy to navigate. And I'll actually show you now. I'll take you to the website. Let me just pop myself up in the corner. Let's go to the laptop, pop myself in the corner. There we are. So I'm at the website now, as I said, www.taubmans.com.au. And so you'll be brought to a landing page that looks like this. You can sign up and you can subscribe, which will allow you to get 4 free sample pots. So that's something to look at there, but I'll just move that out of the way. But here you are. So looking at colours, you can tap on paint colours. And I would go down to where it says order colour swatches. Now, if I click on that, let's hope it's going to work. Yep, it's just taking a moment. So here we are, and you can use the search function and you can look for pretty much any colour that you wish. So I'm going to put, let's hope I can spell it right. Oops. There's always something like that when we're on camera. Surf Mist. So I'm going to just open that up. Now, when you look at that colour on screen, you'd go, wow, that looks really dark. Trust me, when you get yourself either a colour swatch or a sample pot and you pop that outside, it really lightens right up. So if you click on the colour, that, as I said, you search for your colour, click on it, and then you can go down and you can find all of the information out. And you can find that with any colour. So here, okay, but that needs to be fixed. The LRV, it's actually 67.7 is the LRV. I'll get that rectified. But anyhow, so this is where you can find all of the information for yourself. So I will just come back off screen. There we go. So a really great place to start. The other place as well is having a look at our Taubmans fan deck. On the back of every single colour that we have, it has what is called an LRV. So you can have a look there, and all of the paint stores that stock Taubmans have a fan deck. So certainly if you're hopping down there and you're looking at whites and you're wondering what, I'm sure that somebody would be more than happy to help you just to have a look at the LRV. But for a fantastic colour for exterior, for a coastal white, I would be looking at something like, here we go, beautiful colour here called Grey Matter, which I know when it's put outside, it's going to perform and look lovely, white, but not, should I say, too glary. So it's got enough substance. That would be a fantastic coastal white. Another one would be also too, gazebo white as well, which is that one, just the second one down on that blade, is a fantastic coastal white. They kind of sit within the realms of being slightly neutral, so going to pair back and work really, really well with a lot of other external elements. Okay, so and other colours to go with a coastal theme. If you're doing exterior and you're doing a Hamptons, have a look at a beautiful colour that we have, which is called Oyster Bar. Now, I think that that is also available. Let's have a look here. It is. It's also available in our exterior colour guide. And here it is here. It's called Oyster Bar. Now, the fantastic thing about this too, and I might as well take you through this while we are looking at it. So if you find this in-store exterior guide, it's got on the back, it's telling you all about our fantastic product, which is Taubmans All Weather. There's a QR code there, which will lead you to the website that I took you to before, and it's going to help you find out more information about our products. And then also on the inside of all of our colour brochures is another QR code that you can scan, and it will take you again to our website, but this time it's going to take you to that colour landing page. Now, the way we've designed this colour card, there's a couple of things here. There's a fantastic range of colours that can be used on front doors. Now, we all know that a coloured front door is a thing and it looks fantastic, and it's a great way of injecting a bit of personality into your home and just injecting a little bit of colour and a point of difference, if you like. So the colours that we have here selected for front doors all have that LRV that I was talking about. So they have that 50 or greater, so they're suitable for new front doors as well. And the other thing here as well, when we look at the colours, they're designed, so we've incorporated some colour bond colours here as well. And all of the colours that sit within each row are designed to work with those colour bond colours. So it is a fantastic tool if you're not sure where to start and you're not sure about, you might have, for example, Colorbond June, and you're looking at that and you're thinking, oh, what can I put with that? Well, rest assured that a couple of these other colours here, so I've got high reaches, what else do I have here? Siberian Husky, etc., are going to work really, really well with that. So this is just helping to give you an idea and help you basically an idea of how you can create your own colour scheme, if you like. So I think it's pretty cool. And along here as well, some fantastic darker tones that we know are very much on trend as well. And they're a selection of 6 of our most popular and favourite. And then back to here as well, we've got some fantastic whites that will look beautiful when we're talking about having trims that will pair back with some of the fantastic colours within this brochure. So I hope that helps. So have a look for Oyster Bar. Also have a look for whites, as I said before, that are sitting anywhere between 65 to 75 LRV value for the exterior, knowing that they're going to have enough substance and they're not going to be blinding and too glary. So, okay, and we do have a question here from Melissa. Thank you, Melissa, for joining us this evening. And your question is, what colours are currently on trend in the market that Taubmans are seeing? I'm glad that you've asked. Okay, so here is our latest 2024 colour forecast. And these are a collection of colours that really are bang on trend, that are being designed to work with, because when we put colours together, we look at like macro, micro trends, what's happening globally, what's happening, how it's going to affect our Australian market, how it can be interjected into our Australian homes, landscapes, etc., so that we've got colours that are going to work. And also looking at, what other companies are bringing out. So for example, what kitchen cabinet or what kitchen joinery colours are on trend. So to ensure that we can give you something that's going to work really, really well. So we've broken our equilibrium down. It's all about creating your own state of balance. And balance is a really important principle of design. So we've broken it down into four collections, if you like. So we have what's called Composure. Composure takes homage from neotenic design, which is all about beautiful, soft, rounded. If you look it up, you can see some beautiful, soft, rounded furniture, which encompasses fabrics like boucle and things like that. And there's some fantastic soft colours. And these colours can be used throughout the home. They can be used to create a fantastic office space, even, you know, for a front door, as we talked about before. And then when you go into the next collection, which is grounded, it plays to biophilic design. It's that having that need to bring the outdoors in. And there's a beautiful collection of beautiful blues and greens which play to that really, really well. The next collection is called Centered. It is really taking homage from the modern Mediterranean aesthetic that we're seeing trending at the moment. And there's some fantastic whites, but you'll notice that we're starting to go into what's called warmer whites. And the warmer whites play or sit really, really well with things like travertine and terrazzo, which is very much on trend. And in particular, there's a fantastic white called Aria Ivory that just sits beautifully with those. And then we've got what's called Euphoric, which really takes key from maximalism, which is about bold colors, bold prints, etc. And there's some fantastic colors there. And what I really love is one that's being shown there, which is called Nutmeg. Now, as I showed you before on our website, when you go to our website and when you look at colors, there is a tab there that says our 2020 color forecast, our 2024, sorry, color forecast. And it's been broken down by room to help you to shop and help you to put together your own space. Now, what we're seeing in the market is there's a really big shift towards, as I said, like our whites are starting to warm up. Our greys are really starting to become more, even going into that greyish, so really warm. And we're starting to see as well things like neutrals being defined as, so caramel tones, beige, sort of nude pink tones that kind of sit on the edge. So it's not quite pink, but it's not quite beige. And also too, the really big thing we're seeing is the new neutral, which is being, it's been coined as the new neutral, which is green. Green is fantastic. There are quite a lot of different tones to the green that we're seeing. We're seeing anything from a fresh green going into a really organic, deep, darker style green. But green is beautiful, and green is one, and green and blue are really easy to live with colors. Green's probably one of the safest and easiest to use colors. And if you're not sure where to begin with a color journey, have a look at green. You can't go wrong. I've got a lot of green in my place, lots of varying tones of green. I love it. And you know what? It's quite timeless as well. So I hope, Melissa, that kind of helps you. I've given you a little bit of a journey through our latest 2024 color forecast. As I said, pick yourself up one of these brochures. You'll see in the front page there. Also too, just on the inside cover, there's a QR code, and that will take you to the landing page of our website, which discusses our forecast in greater detail and helps guide you with how to use the colours. If you do have any further questions around that, Melissa, pop something into the feed. I'd be very happy to help you. Thank you. What else do I have? Okay, so hi Jody, thank you very much for joining us. Excuse me. So you're saying, hi, I've looked through the colours till I'm confused. I need a colour for external weatherboard house with a colorbond roof in woodland grey. My separate garage is seen from the street front, so don't want it too out of place. It's in a cream colour. Okay, so let me just clarify. So you've got woodland grey and then you have a garage in a cream colour. So is your garage a colorbond colour? Are we looking at classic cream when we talk about your garage colour? So that's classic cream. If you can just give me a little bit more information, I can certainly help you with some fantastic colour schemes. Excuse me while I just grab a little drink of water here. Sorry about that. Okay, so Melissa, thank you very much. You're saying that's great. Definitely will go and have a look into the brochure. I certainly would. There's some fantastic colours there to help you with your colour journey. And Jody, yes. Okay, thank you. So you're letting me know that you've got classic cream and woodland grey. So they're the two colours, and you're wanting a colour for your weatherboards that needs to marry in with those two. Okay, well, let's have a look. Let's see what we can find. So woodland grey, generally, because it has a slight green undertone, I would look for something that has a slight green undertone. So possibly still, sorry, with woodland grey roof and garage door. Fantastic. So it's cream with woodland grey. So that's been incorporated as well. Okay, let me find you a fantastic neutral. As I was saying, because woodland grey has that green undertone, we're going to want something that's going to work really, really well with that. But we... Okay, so you could have a look at... Let's have a look. You could have a look, and I'm just... I think I would start with a colour called Putty, and then there's another colour called Vellum Smoke. So there's two colours there. So you've got, oops, Putty, which is the tone there, and then you've got it's just a little bit deeper in Vellum Smoke. I think that sits really, really well with your woodland grey, and it's also going to sit well too with your classic cream, because we've got quite a few different tones here that we've got to find that nice in-between colour that's going to work well. So that's where I would send you. Have a look at those to begin with. Let me see if there's anything else that I would recommend. Maybe if we went into something as well, I'm just thinking if we go into something that's neutral but still slightly green, and see how that's going to work. There is a colour called Snow. Oh, let's have a look at this. Ooh, and there's also a colour called Snow Olive. You'll have to excuse the, let me have a look. You'll have to excuse the look of my fan deck. It is very well loved, and you can tell that I do really love this collection of colours on this blade, hence the marking on it. But that is the colour there where my finger is tapping on, called Snow Olive. Now that's a colour that's going to sit beautifully with woodland grey, and it actually works quite nicely with the classic cream as well. So you've got Putty, Vellum Smoke or Snow Olive. Have a look at those to begin with, and if you find that you're wanting any further information, please pop something else into the feed and I would be very happy to assist you. Okay. Oh, hi Janet, thank you very much for joining us. That's lovely to hear. So fabulous and very informative. It's always great when we get some feedback like that. So thank you. How can I purchase a fan deck, please? Now, okay, when I finish streaming in a moment, I will have a look on our website and pop a link into the feed for you to direct you to where you can purchase fan decks from. So I'd be happy to help you with that one. Oh, okay, thanks Jodie. Okay, I think I did look at the Snow Olive and thought it might have been too grey. Okay, that's fair enough. Do have a look then at Putty and Vellum Smoke. I think that one of those could probably suffice, and I don't think it's going to be too grey, but it still does have a slight green undertone because it needs to have just a little bit of that to pair back really nicely with that woodland grey. Thanks. Okay, so... Okay. Oh yeah, what is your best-selling indoor white? No surprises there. Favourite number one white is a colour... sorry, Jodie, it's Vellum, so that's with a V. Sorry, it's probably hard to hear me. So, yeah, Vellum Smoke. I'm happy when I finish streaming to pop some links into the feed for you to those colours that I've mentioned as well. Okay, so the best-selling indoor white colour is Crisp White. It is our number one white, and it is beautiful. So if you are embarking on a white journey and you don't know where to begin, as I was saying before, grab the Whites and Neutrals colour card. Now, I should have mentioned this before. If I hold it back a bit, you can see some grey squares or grey rectangles, or grey framing, I should say, around some of our whites. So this is to point out or highlight our top whites. So having got that out of the way, here is Crisp White. It's got my finger on it there. It is fantastic. Now, what I love about crisp white is some whites, when you put them into your space, can look, a common thing that I hear quite often when I'm out and about is, I've used this white in my space and it looks blue and it looks really cold, etc. And so, if I had $1 for every time somebody said that to me in store, well, I probably wouldn't be on screen tonight. But anyhow, the simple fact is that whites start out as a white base, and in our case, if I'm going to reference Taubmans Endure, it's going to start out as a brilliant white base. It has a lot of titanium dioxide in it, so when you lift the can up, it's quite heavy. But not only that, it has, what it does is it offers exceptional coverage. So by coverage, I mean not your spread rate, not how far you can spread the paint or how much of your room you can paint with it. Coverage, I mean by how it performs and its ability to cover over, let's say, other colors or over surfaces when you're painting. And so it already starts out fantastic. And so in order to create crisp white, or in order to create whites from that brilliant white base, they put various tints to create various whites. So some whites will have just black, and hence you end up with that blue, cool feeling in a space. Some whites will have a little bit of black, a little bit of ochre, a little bit of red. And believe it or not, that can form some of these beautiful neutral whites that you heard me talk about earlier. But then crisp white has one tint in it called raw umber. When you look at the color, it's a murky sort of brown. But what it does for the white that it creates is it gives you a beautiful soft white that has a very soft glow. And that white is suitable to be used in any area of your home. And it just looks amazing. And you can put that white, you can use that color on your ceiling, you can use it on your walls, you can use it on your doors and trims. It's a fantastic white. So if you're embarking on a white journey and you're not sure where to start, go crisp white all the way. Get yourself a sample pot. Do what I talked about when we first started tonight's session, getting that piece of cardboard, testing it in your own home. I can guarantee you will not be disappointed. I love crisp white so much. My husband and I like to renovate homes, and it is my go-to white because I know how well it performs and how beautiful it looks. So that's my tip for tonight. If you're not sure where to start with your whites, have a look for crisp white. You cannot go wrong. So that concludes tonight's session. I've gone a little bit over time. What I will do though is, as I've promised, I'll pop some links into the feed for some of the things I've talked about this evening, being color. And I will also, there's another question that's come through, I will answer that question for you. And just to let you know, I won't be here next week. Next week I'll be attending a launch in Sydney, which I'm super excited about, but we will be back the week after that. So hold off then for all your colour questions, pile them up and come back to us in a couple of weeks and I'll be back again to answer them all for you. So I hope that's helped you all tonight. If you do have any further questions, I will be not in front of the camera, but sitting behind the computer for a further half an hour to answer any more. So until we meet again in a couple of weeks, stay safe everybody. And as I always say, thanks very much and happy painting. Bye.